So, hello, I am Kim LaPlante, and I'm here welcoming Dallas Haupt with my inaugural conversation, interviewing some different people who are influential in our community. So, welcome, Dallas. Glad to have you with us.
Thank you, Kim. I appreciate it so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
So, this is called Coffee with Kim. So, I have to ask the question, do you drink coffee?
Well, occasionally, Kim, I do, but Sandy and I tend to find more healthy energy drinks. And actually, so I drink a little bit of coffee every now and then, and I love it, but I just can't have it.
Okay. Have gone to some other drinks, other
Yeah.
beverages. Okay, great. So Dallas, tell us what your organization is that you work with.
Well, the organization is called Kids Outdoor Zone, and the short is KOZ or KOZ. And the organization started about 14 years ago. It's out of Texas, and actually, a friend of mine started it. And just a little bit about how it started. When TJ, my friend, the founder, was 13 years old, Kim, his mom left town, his dad deserted him. And so he was homeless on the streets of Houston,
Wow.
and he was sleeping in a Goodwill box that he had jerry rigged the lock off of.
Wow.
And when he turned 51, that kind of shaped him for life. And he had a struggle like a lot of people do. But at 51, God called him to do this and to start this ministry because he knew that the hearts of these little boys, which is who we minister to, the hearts of the fatherless, these young men are growing up without a dad. So that is what KOZ is about, is mentoring to the fatherless. But the way I got started was I have to go back to 1968, and mom was single, and we were living down in South Georgia, and I was like every little boy. I wanted to go fishing, but I didn't have anybody to take me.
Mm.
At the time, she worked at Warner Robins, which was an Air Force base. So one Saturday morning, a gentleman showed up. I had no idea he was coming. He knocked on the door, and I answered it, and he said, "Young man, I'm here to take you fishing."
Wow.
And I was so excited, Kim. And we took me that day. I joke, I caught a fish without any bait on the hook. Son, you're going to be a great fisherman. And I say that because people don't understand the impact of that statement on my life, even though it was short and sweet. I never had a man, one, put his hand on me,
Mm.
two, that kind of empowering statement. So that's what drew me to KOZ, and I've been a part of it now for 5 years.
Okay. And this, you do this in Monroe, correct?
Yes, you don't have to have a farm, but we were fortunate enough to have one. So we have it here on our farm. We have 40 acres. We have over 100 chapters nationally now. We also have a chapter in Canada, and we have a chapter in the Ukraine and in Moldova.
Okay. Wow.
But typically, someone in your church or organization will donate their land for KOZ. It just so happens that we have it here on our farm, and it works out great.
Okay. So, how often do y'all meet?
We meet once a month, and each chapter chooses its Saturday. So our particular chapter meets on the third Saturday of every month. We start around 8:30. We ask the boys to get here around 8:15, and we keep them from about 8:30 to 12 o'clock. We feed them, and then we send them home to mom.
So, where do these boys come from?
Oh my goodness. Once we started this, Kim, and the founder told me this, he goes, "You don't need to worry about the boys. Half the young boys sleep in a house without a father every night." So once the word got out that we were doing this for these young men, we get boys from the community, we get boys from our church, we get boys from foster parents, we get boys from other churches. We looked at it last year. I think we ran over 100 different boys
Mm.
came to kids. So, and we average between 30 and 50 boys at any on any given Saturday. And the theme of KOZ is to do hard things for him. Now, we also allow fathers and sons to come.
Okay.
So cool, because what happens is these young men that don't have fathers, they're not used to a man's voice or even the tone or somebody instructing them on how to be a man.
Mm.
First, they're very, I mean, we've even had these kids cry because they think they're in trouble, and you have to walk over and put your hand on them and say, "Hey, buddy, you're not in trouble. I'm just trying to help you. I'm just trying to teach you what the proper thing to do here is." And after a few months, they understand, and they grow into this whole idea of what it is to be a good man and a good father. And so that's really what we're doing. We're just as an organization, we are trying to raise up an army of men who are willing to mentor these young men around the country.
So are there age limits?
Yeah, Kim, we the 8 to 18 is the age limit.
Okay.
Uh, but I cheat a little bit because if a boy's got a brother who's 6 or 7 and he wants to come and he's 8, I'm not going to stop that little brother from coming. So we have some kids every now and then from 6 or 7, but the age group is 8 to 18.
So if there was someone out there watching and they knew of a young man or a boy who might be interested in this, what would they do?
Well, I would send them first to our Facebook page, which is KOZ Walton, and they could actually send just a message saying who they are, the young man's name, and all the information is on there as far as when we meet. But uh, we have a young lady named Madison Holler that manages that for us, and she's awesome at it. So she would then call me if necessary, and I could call them and tell them what, answer their questions about it. Or sometimes we just have people show up because they've seen it on the Facebook page. So it's really just show up. If you just get here on that third Saturday at 8:30, you are welcome, and we're going to make you part of our group.
So there is you had mentioned the KOZ Walton. That's is that a Facebook page or a website?
Facebook page.
Okay.
Now, they can go to for more information. Like, for instance, if somebody's in another state or anywhere in the United States, they can go to the kidsoutdoorzone.com, kidsoutdoorzone.com, and they can flip through that. And there is actually a page where it says map, and it will show you where every chapter is in the country. And there's also we have a corporate office there in Smithville, Texas, and it is manned every day with several employees, so they can call out there, and that number's there as well. But what's great about this too is that KOZ has done a great job of putting all the training on video. So no longer does someone have to travel halfway across the country to train the men. All the trainings are on video. They're all in order. It's all organized. And occasionally around here, if it's close, I will go and do the training for the men using the videos or help them with their first KOZ. But that's the beauty of this now, is that it doesn't require someone to go and train on it. All the training's been put online.
So this is a really organized organization. That sounds weird. They've
I just spent this weekend at an event in Atlanta called the Dallas Safari Club. And Kim, I wasn't that familiar with it, but they are a conservation group of hunting and fishing and outdoors. But they've been around since the early 20s. So there were people from all over the world at this event. We were introducing them to KOZ, and it was amazing to hear these men talk about, we are raising up the next generation of hunters and fishermen. And I mean, it's so important to these boys. Part of this whole concept is that, God created us men to be outdoors. And there's a healing process that takes place and sitting around a campfire. And so a lot of these little boys, there's a lot of pain in their hearts, and they don't know what to do with it. And so when they get out here, we're able to just kind of calm them down, spend a little time with them, love on them a little bit, and it's amazing what happens to them. They just come alive. So yeah, they can go to Kids Outdoor Zone, look up, wherever the local chapter is. But I am what we call an outfitter, kind of in the hunting industry. You're an outfitter, so I represent the Southeast, and Florida, South Carolina, the surrounding states, in trying to help and to build the organization here.
So, kind of the same frame, I guess, if someone, a man was watching this and he felt like maybe this would be something for him to check out to come and be a mentor, on the third Thursday of the month, what would he do?
Well, if he's here, he would come to our chapter here in Monroe, or if he's in a particular church. Because the reason we use churches is we found that the men in the churches are willing to come together and to be trained to do this. Um, it also helps with insurance because obviously there in this world there's a liability, and the church carries the liability of the organization and the young boys that are out here. But
Okay.
if a man is part of this, we're pretty we're pretty strict about this. We ask them to come out and volunteer a couple of times, Kim, and then if they like it and we like them and it feels like a fit, then we will put them through a training program, which is called an HTL or Team Leader.
Okay.
The reason we do that is, and everyone has a background check that
Uh,
is, but these young men are used to men stepping in their life, and we don't want that. So if you just want to see if you like it, you come, we introduce you as a guest for 4 or 5 months. And then after that, if you want to be a part of it, you can. But we require, unless it's an emergency, we ask that you be here every event that we have.
okay. Okay. So, how about if someone wanted to support you financially? Is there a way to do that?
There certainly is. Locally, they can go to the cross.org, which is our church in Loganville. There's a Give app, GYVE. They can also go there and look up KOZ and give that way if they want to do it online. Or they can write a check to the church and just put KOZ under the line there. And I love this, Kim, because it's not, this ministry is what we call a parachurch ministry. In other words, we have several guys from different churches that are helping us. We have different churches come to this. So this is not a specific, it can be, but it doesn't have to be. But then nationally, which is what we were doing this weekend, they can go to the kidsoutdoorzone.com and a place there they can donate as well nationally.
Okay, cool. Well, I've known you for a while and I knew that you were doing this. I had no idea how it got started, just everything about it, and to know that it's a national organization. So this is great. Last question, what is bringing you joy in your life right now?
Well, traveling with my wife, Sandy. We love to travel. That brings me joy. And number two is this, KOZ. The guys that help me with this, there's 15 of us now. They'll tell you they look so forward to those Saturday mornings when the little boys show up because you can see the excitement on their faces. They can't wait to get here. And the moms, a lot of times it's funny, they're rolling their eyes like this is all I've heard for the last. So I would say that's, for me, that brings the most joy. I said it earlier, the motto of KOZ is to do hard things. So the first thing the boys do when we get here is we have this hill down here. It's about 30 feet, and they have to climb up it with a rope and go back down it. And it was so funny. Last time this little boy looked at it, we call it a hill, and he said, "That's not a hill, Mr. Dallas. That's a mountain."
Uh,
Watch him go up and come down, and watch the fear go away and the confidence go up is amazing. And I always joke. I said they go from being this scared little boy to Rocky. They can do anything. So I get way more joy out of that than I do anything else.
wow, that's amazing. Well, thank you again for your time and best wishes to you and people who are watching this. You've got the information, Facebook page, websites to go to. So we hope you'll check it out.
Hey, Kim, thank you for doing this and putting this together. This is awesome. And you're such a part of our community. We appreciate you so much.
Thank you.